Hi, my name is Chen and I am a current intern at the Schopf Gallery. Today I'll be giving my thoughts and opinions on Toni Hafkenscheid's recent show called Not to Scale. And in this show, he has traveled to specific locations in the United States and Canada. He uses highly saturated films to create rich colors in his images. He also uses a Hasselblad 2¼ format camera to create these soft blurs and sharp focuses in the middle. It's really about this illusion of miniatures. So let's begin. This probably looks like a postcard you would see in a souvenir shop in Washington, D.C. The soft focus helps to give a dreamlike quality related to the idea of the all-American dream. But if you look closely across the rows of American flags, your eye flow actually gets interrupted by this one peculiar flag. You ask, why is all the flags flying perfectly in the wind when this one sits kind of dead? So, does it mean that it interferes with the thought of the perfect view of the American dream? Or does it actually help to focus your eye right in the center where this straight pole points you upward to this monument, which is a symbol of nationalism? Unlike the rest of Toni's work, human figures are the main focus, but it gives it a bit of narrative. I mean, what's really cool is this one little tiny sign, which is a danger sign, a graphic of a person sitting on a rail. And ironically, not too far away, there's a person imitating that exact sign. And so you see there's this lady that kind of almost looks like me, locks the sign and the lady into a triangle, keeping you focused in that area. So coincidence or not, it gives this piece a very humorous twist. This is a good example of the well use of the blur, creating a plasticity in the columns. Upward, the fluting in the column starts to disappear, and the column actually starts to shift back and forth, almost like some type of rubber. So they kind of lose their material identity as marble. So the smooth surface actually makes it look like some kind of elastic plastic. Toni makes use of dynamic lines. You feel like you are in a plane, looking out the window, ready to take off. This dynamic composition can be seen in an omniscient perspective. You are disconnected from the narrative, yet you are placed in this high position, kind of like a godlike role where you can take your hand and pick up this model and just study the details. Or you can play and move the chairs, the ashtrays, the bushes, or you can even take the man and move it here or there, just anywhere you please. As you can see, the scale is much larger compared to me. But anyway, what's so great about this piece is its irony. The blur smooths out the definitive shapes of leaves and the details in the trunks, and the highly saturated green and this very cool, highly saturated purple makes these plants look plastic-like. So it makes me think, is it hinting at the idea that Beverly Hills is very fake? Or because of the sharp focus right in the middle, does it authenticate how beautiful Beverly Hills is? So it's really the playing a question of is it real, if it's not real, realism, anti-realism, and so on. And here we enter Mr. Roger-esque-like neighborhood. But I bet you've never seen such dynamic tension in this neighborhood. I mean, look at this black line here. It holds such weight, it seems to bend or tilt forward and down. But if you look closely at these sun ray-like suspension cable and this rubbery-like supports, it's trying to hold this bridge from actually falling. So it's kind of like this seesaw balance. Here you get a good sense of the model. You have the city lights as your backdrop and the plasticky trees in the foreground. But let me go off to another topic. This angle puts you in an interesting position. This piece actually lets you imagine that you are part of the image. Maybe you're a neighbor and maybe you have a binocular playing Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window and you're spying on the neighbors. This is a really sweet piece. I mean, I can imagine this placed near a fireplace or anywhere with a warm atmosphere. Look at the soft focus and the roundness of this tree. It creates this oval-like composition, which is kind of like looking into a snow globe. I mean, just look at these branches. They seem to float in some type of liquid. It's really quite lovely. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite pieces. The funny thing about this image is all the V's. I mean, look at the V of the red arrow, the V of the descending buildings, and the actual letter V. But I think the most important V is the soft cloud that makes the shape of the V Let's motor along to our last piece. This is a great example of playing with angle and lines, which I'll show you. This angle takes you into the picture, and the red truck leads you this way, and it goes up to the beam, and cross here, and down the beam to this little pond. But this movement hasn't stopped yet. This movement is taken across here, which gets caught onto this man's legs, up his body, along the gun, and back to this end beam. But the movement hasn't quite stopped yet because you are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. This zigzag creates this noise and excitement, and at the same time, you're like racing with this Canadian Pacific. I mean, this piece shows a lot of dynamic movement, which is really great. These 4 black and white images are prior to the show you've just seen. Because you've seen a current show, you can think of this as a process or evolution to how Toni got where he is. To know more about Toni's work or even the Packard Schopf Gallery, please visit us at www.packardgallery.com. Thank you.